What's shaking, guys? Luke Dancy here, and we are going to chat today with a Las Vegas legend, Mr. Allan Ackerman. But first, real quick, before we get to Allan, I've got some winners to announce from last week and some magic to hook you guys up with this week. We're going to give two of you guys a chance to win the Ultimate Self-Working Card Tricks Volume 4. I thought it'd be kind of fun to give away some card magic this week because we're talking to a Las Vegas card expert. So you guys have a chance to win that if you like and comment on this video. That's all you got to do. Our winners from last week who pick up the Tom Elderfield at the Table lecture are from YouTube, Handstand221. That's his username. And over on Facebook, we got Frank Valenti over on Facebook. They both won a free copy of the Tom Elderfield at the Table lecture. So more magic every week we're doing giveaways for. Right now, I'm so proud and humbled to introduce you to the Las Vegas card expert, the living legend himself, Allan Ackerman. Yeah. Don't forget, you can win this. All right, here he comes in 3, 2, and 1. Allan Ackerman, how we doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
All
I'm
right.
up at my cabin at Big Bear.
Nice. I'm so jealous. We're all working, and you're enjoying life, the retired life.
Yep.
Oh man! So thank you so much for joining me. I know you're, enjoying yourself away from town for a little bit. So this is fun to have a chance for guys to connect with you and get a chance to maybe, just maybe, see some card magic from the man himself. So thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'm glad to.
Awesome. So Allan, before we get any further here, I'd like to ask you a question that goes way, way back here. Give a little bit of the history of you and the city that we both call home, Las Vegas. Maybe let the guys know how long you've been out here, and and also we'll get into the Darwin stuff a little bit too, because that's very, very important to our history here in Las Vegas. So how long have you been out here, and what have you seen? You know, Vegas has changed so much. You've seen so many people throughout the years, but how long have you been out here? We'll start with that.
Okay, I got out here in 71, June of 71. I got did not have a very good draft number back in the 60s, so I got drafted in 69. I zoomed over to the Air Force recruiter and signed up for the Air Force, and they gave me a bunch of tests, and they said, you could go work in a hospital laboratory. Got a year's training, and then you get to pick your base. Like, we can't promise you, but right down to Air Force Base. Well, I had a copy of Beat the Dealer at that time, and I was really learning how to card count. I said, I want to go to Las Vegas, Nevada. I said, at Nellis Air Base. So I said, okay, we'll try to get you there. And sure enough, I got stationed at Nellis after my year of tech school. So I got here in June of 71.
Wow.
So
Wow. I was
been here a long time.
Yes.
And I got out of the service in 73.
Yeah.
Said, I'll go get a degree in probability theory, help me with my card shuffling and card odds. So I went over to UNLV and started working on my master's degree in mathematics. And 74, I think we got an MSI computer, and everybody else was thinking database, word processing. I'm thinking shuffle simulator. So I had my own software company doing gaming analysis. So by 2 years later, and I had that company for many, many, many years, shut it down in the late 90s. We did all kinds of gaming simulations for the Gaming Control Board and for different people, wrote all kinds of books for Gamblers Book Club, did a lot of simulation series, things like that. So, yeah, I had a nice little career, all because of a deck of cards. And I got involved in mathematics, got involved in computers, and of course I've been doing card magic my whole life. Yeah.
What was the first card trick that you ever, this is just from me to you, I haven't seen this question. By the way, if you guys do have questions, feel free to go ahead and drop them in. What was the first trick, or what was it that made you, become a magician? Was it a trick that you saw? Was it a gambling demonstration? What was it that made you even decide to go down this path?
9 years old, 1957.
Okay.
And at our local high school, we had an old vaudeville magician.
Oh, cool.
Put on a full evening show, Dr. Harlan Tarbell.
Wait, it was Tarbell? Are you serious?
Tarbell, yeah. And he did a full evening show, and Jay Marshall did a 20-minute segment in the middle. And I was just mesmerized. And I go home to my dad that evening, and I tell him all about this show. And he says, "You know what? Doc Tarbell, he's got a series of books over at the library.
Cool.
Really famous set of books. Why don't you go check those out?" Matter of fact, when I was growing up in Morton, Illinois, Doc Tarbell's wife was my grade school teacher.
Oh
So I
my
know them.
God. That is so
I'll give him a call. Maybe we could all get together. And so he did. And I got to have dinner one night with Doc. He was getting up there in the years. And he taught me out of this world. So that was my first card trick, 9 years old. And he had a son, Gene Tarbell, also did magic. And Doc Tarbell died, I think, probably about a year later. But his son, Gene Tarbell, started to teach a magic class over at the local YMCA.
Huh.
So I went and took that class for probably 3 years. He took me under his wing and just taught me a ton of stuff. Yeah, so that's how I got started. And then I was a typical kid magician. I did bird acts. I was in love with Neil Foster, and my parents actually had a cottage up in Coldwater, Michigan, which is about 10 miles, 20 miles from Colon, Michigan. So they had the Abbott's Magic Company over there. So I started to go to that magic get-together that they have every year. Mm-hmm. And that was a lot of fun. And then but anyway, typical kid magician, box magician, did some slides, did split fans and stuff like that. I signed up for the Chavez correspondence course, and I did that and bought some doves. But anyway, something happened when I was 15. A magician by the name of Jim Canega showed me Brother John Hammond's Micro Macro,
oh boy.
and it changed my life. And I couldn't get over how clever it was and how amazing it was. And I just started, I bought my copy of Expert at the card table that year, started to study that, and took his advice when I'm reading the book that the bottom deal is, if you had to pick any sleight, that bottom deal would be probably the thing that would give you the most rewards. And I really worked hard on that, was doing a good bottom by the time I was 16. And then Charlie Miller came to town. He was getting his teeth worked on over at Magic Inc. So he was in the magic shop all the time. So I got to spend a little bit of time with Charlie Miller. And then I heard about him demonstrating this thing called the Greek bottom deal.
Oh boy.
And then I said, "Charlie, can you show it to me?" He said, "No."
Nope.
And so I worked on my own technique, and then Marlo heard about that. Then I went around and doing it, and he asked me to show it to him and teach it to him, and I did. And then he took me under his wing, and I got to study with Ed I spent almost every Saturday with Ed for 3 years till I went in the service. So that was really kind of how I got started.
Man, talking about the Ed Marlowe, not just some random Ed Marlowe, the Ed Marlowe. Man, that's crazy. Every Saturday for 3 years.
Almost, yeah. Only time I didn't get to see Ed on a Saturday was when John Rockenbaumer came into town. Yeah, John was at New Orleans at the time. I think he was working for Eastern Airlines, and they were doing this magazine together called The Hierophant.
Oh yeah.
So he would come into town every now and then he would have Ed for the weekend. But there were other people too that were in the group. Dick Kester, Ross Johnson, the mentalist, sometimes would join us. Steve Drawn, of course, very well known card technician there. He would always join us. So he had a nice little group. And then when I went to the service, Dave Solomon had just gotten out back of the service as I'm going in. He kind of took over my spot there at the Marlowe table.
Awesome. I remember actually, I believe you were there because it's been a hot minute. So forgive me if I'm mistaken, but I believe you were there at the Marlowe tribute that we did in Chicago for the Second Deal convention. Am I right about that?
Oh yeah, I was certainly there. Yeah. And then, Dave did a video And so I'm on the video, and I did Eddie's stay stack routine that had, it was from Pharaoh Controlled Miracles, that
Mhm.
had 15 phases. I cut it down a little bit, but
Just a little bit.
yeah, I had a nice little kicker ending on that. So I
Cool.
put that on that DVD. Yeah.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
then, yeah, there was like 10 or 12 of us on that DVD. It was kind of fun.
That was an amazing, amazing event. If you guys don't know, there's a kind of like a members only, website that existed a while back. We had conventions every year, and this one was a tribute to Marlowe. So a lot of the students of his that were still alive came to this event and all kind of honored Marlowe, and it was a who's who. It was pretty freaking cool. It was amazing. Here's a question for you, Alan. This one comes in from Benny over on our YouTube channel. Benny says, "What was it like to be around other legends?" And his second part of the question is, "Do you see a similar time in Magic today?" So we'll start with the first part, which is, I mean, at the time, I guess we didn't really know they were legends, huh? They were like the top of their field, but we didn't really know who they were at that time, huh? But what was it like to be around those people, rubbing shoulders with those people?
Well, I think we knew they were legends. I certainly knew Marlowe was a legend.
Oh yeah, even
And
at
I
that
thought,
time. Okay, okay,
yeah,
wow.
it's just, he had all those books out and they were just so great. And I just was constantly reading. And I knew Charlie Miller was a legend. I got to spend, that I think he was in Chicago almost 6 months. So I got to spend tons of time with Charlie.
Cool.
And then Slidini would come to Chicago and do lectures. I got to meet Slidini, and then I got to spend some time with Vernon, you know. So we had a lot of good sessions with Di Vernon in my lifetime, and then got to meet Larry Jennings. Had some great sessions with Larry Jennings. Well, yeah, it was wonderful. Just a rich environment.
That's
And of
amazing. Do
course,
you? Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
think the environment today is just as wonderful, though. We got all these great young people working, and I'm just amazed at all the creativity that's going on, and I'm loving it.
Yeah. And one of the cool things is you've helped foster that. And I'd like to touch on this now too, because it's part of your history and legacy that you're carrying on here in Las Vegas. The Gary Darwin Wednesday night meetups, and wait, it's Wednesday, um, is something that Gary Darwin started. I'm taking a guess. Is it 55 years this year that you guys were celebrating, or was it last year?
Yeah, so the club was actually going full strength when I arrived in '71. So I'm not quite sure which was the year Gary got us started,
Okay.
but it was probably around '68, somewhere '69. And yeah, it's always been a wonderful place for me. I get to practice new material, and over the years, a lot of the great guys have shown up at the club. Johnny Thompson, Siegfried used to come all
Okay.
the time, and we had Gary did lectures for a long time, every month, and then about no, it was longer than that. I think it was about 2012. Gary decided no more lectures, so we just had the Wednesday night
Hmm.
club. No more lectures though. But then the Top Hat and Wand and Denny and Lee started doing the lectures, so we still have a pretty good set of lectures in Las Vegas.
Yeah, we actually had one at the club, the Darwin Meetup Club, and he was watching here when we first started. Fanique was on
Yeah,
here.
that
Um,
was just an awesome lecture.
it was
Yes,
really good.
that was yeah. So I've tried two lectures now since Gary has passed,
Mhm.
and hopefully we'll do some more.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Um, for those that don't know about what we're talking about, the Gary Darwin is no longer with us. He started this club, which is basically every Wednesday in Las Vegas, a meetup. And I'll let Alan tell you more about it, but it's an every single week thing. So if you're ever coming into Vegas, even just for business or a quick vacation, every Wednesday night, it kicks off about 8, 9 o'clock, I guess, is when it kind of starts
Right.
really getting
About
the
nine
wheels going.
o'clock.
Yeah. Why don't you tell them more about it? It's
Yeah. So it goes
yeah.
on. It starts at 9 and it goes on till the last person leaves,
Yep.
which is usually around 2 or 3.
Yeah.
In the morning, we meet at a bar restaurant. They have really good food called Tommy Rockers on Dean Martin. Uh, avenue there or street. I don't know which one that is, but
Mm.
it's right, basically one street behind the strip. And and like I said, we used to get, when we were on the strip, Gary used to get, and when Siegfried came, we'd always have 60, 70 people every Wednesday nights. But right now, we get 24, 25 people show up. When Lance says we're going to have a little special tribute and have some food, then we'll have 60, 70 people show up. But yeah, we'll have Jason England will pop in every now and then, Paul Vigil, Jeff Korn, you, of course, Luke, show up every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then, the O Brothers might pop in there. So it's just a real fun evening, and everybody's welcome. So if you're ever in town on a Wednesday night, we just started about 2 weeks ago a Facebook page for the club. So that should be up, and hopefully we'll let you know if we got some lectures coming up and things like that.
Cool.
So one of the things that one of the members Mike Little just suggested to me that we're going to have, that everybody in the club put together, if they want to volunteer, we'll have a club night lecture where we all do one of our favorite tricks, and of course a lot of the guys like Vigil and Jeff Korn and myself have published items, and maybe do one trick from one of our published items, and have a lecture like that. So a club lecture. So I thought that sounded like a fun idea.
I love it.
Yeah. Maybe you can demonstrate your cool, well, I can't remember what you call it, that great new convincing control that you have.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you like that, actually. I'm really glad you like that. Yeah, that's been a fun one. Yeah, of course. Anything you ever need from me, you know that. That's a given. So,
Okay, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of cold up here. I'm sorry, I'm sitting here freezing.
Oh, God, I'm sorry, Allan. God.
No, I just, well, that's what happens. They still got snow up in Big Bear.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize.
So I'm actually about 20 miles down the mountain from Big Bear, but nobody knows where I'm at. I'm actually at a place called Crestline, and it's about 20 miles down from Big Bear. Cool. But we got a little lake here called Lake Gregory that I get to see from my window here. But we don't have any snow here right now. But I was looking at the paper. They had snow last week up there, and they got snow in the ski resorts up there. So 20 miles up, they still have snow. Wow. And we're scheduled next week to get snow here.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you're staying warm for the time being. I can see you are a little chilly, so try to stay warm, please.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Mickey Silver's here as well. I wanted to give a shout out to Mickey Silver, another Vegas great. Got so many great people in Las Vegas. It's going to mention this to you. Looking through the comments here. Oh, Dane Smith. That's what I wanted to tell you. Dane Smith says, I had the pleasure of being there. It was a great night with great people. If you can, definitely go. So he's talking about the Darwin meetup. So Dane says he made it. That's cool. This is a good question from Benny over on YouTube. Benny Slade, he says, I've been studying a lot of material from Marlowe, Garcia, Slidini, Martin Nash, to name a few. Do you have any advice on mentorship? He says it's hard to continue that sort of legacy learning today. So obviously some great names there, but when it comes to being mentored, it's definitely not the way it used to be. Do you have any advice on mentorship in general?
Well, if you have somebody in your town that's great and you can hang out, I know guys like me love to session. I used to session with Daryl Davis almost every week, and and then now I'm learning from Daryl. He's the so I'm a student of Daryl now. Yeah, so that's great. No, so Jake, I think magicians. I know I always loved, and Eddie did. We just love to session and talk over ideas and solve problems. It's just a fun thing to do. So, hang around magic clubs and meet some of the elders and try to impress them. And I'm sure I'd love to take you under their wing. Yeah.
It's definitely easy to get spoiled in this town, in Vegas where we live, because there's so many amazing people that live here. And it's a shame that we've seen a few of them lost. over the last few years, but we definitely continue to keep the torch alive, which I think is a really cool thing. And Allan is definitely at the front of that. He's leading the way for all of us, and we all look up to you, Allan. I hope you know that. Like you're our guy. You are Las Vegas. When people think of Vegas magic, card magic, close up magic, they think of Allan Ackerman. So you should know that 100%.
Well, they're great card guys here in Vegas, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Here's a question from Nigel over on our Facebook page. Nigel Quinn says, "Hi Allan, hope all is well. Any top tips for magicians looking to work in Vegas for the first time?" So it's a tough market, huh? It's tough here.
It sure is. But if you like marketing and you're a good businessman, you can do it. Though there's a lot of shows up there on the Strip, a lot of shows, and that's what it takes. Now I've always had these 3 careers that I've been doing, so performing's kind of always been secondary for me, but it's been my great hobby and love of my life. And there's just been some people that have done amazing. Had some amazing success there here in Las Vegas. So, and I'm sure we're going to see it continue, right?
Speaking of seeing things, this is a great little segue. Federico over on YouTube says, "Looks like he's ready to show us a trick. Maybe let's see a little something. Are you in the mood to show us a little card magic, Mr. Allan Ackerman?"
So this is a fun little trick that I have.
Hope you guys are ready for this, by the way.
So I just kind of mentioned his name. Dave Solomon and I have known each other since we've been teenagers, and one of my favorite friends in the world, and we occasionally consult on some tricks. And this is a trick that he and I had this trick called the Joker sandwich, and I think I put it in Genie back in the late 90s. But then Dave had this trick, and then I said, and he did it in a lecture in 2004. Both of us were booked for this magic convention that Danny Archer was putting on. It was called, I can't remember what it was called, Las Vegas Close-Up Invitational or something like that. So anyway, the year was 2004, and after Dave's lecture, I came running up and I said, "I got a perfect call for this trick of yours." So we went back, had dinner that night after the lectures, and we worked this out. And I called it the A&D sandwich. Okay. And I put it in, I made a DVD called Prequel Sequel. I put this routine in there. And I had the issue I did of MUM where I was on the cover. I think I was back in 2009. I put it in print there also. Nice. So it's just a fun, quick little sandwich trick. Okay. And we're going to use the 2 red 5s in this deck. I got a 5 of hearts, and then we should have another red 5 here someplace. Here it is, 5 of diamonds. 5 of diamonds. Okay, so look, you get to name any card in the deck, but not my 2 red 5s.
Okay. The 8 of clubs, please.
8 of clubs. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove these 2 red 5s. We're going to make 1 card disappear from this deck and make an appearance right here in between these 2 red 5s. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Just a snap of the fingers, the Joker. Well, everybody's heard of Jokers Are Wild, right?
Yep.
So let me prove that point here. So I'm just going to sandwich that Joker, give it a little rub, just like that. You could have named any card.
Yes.
Gloves.
Oh my God. Yes. You just, oh my God. I remember seeing this at the club. You crushed me then, you crushed me now. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun little routine. Yeah.
So good, man. And the thing is, guys, when Allan starts dropping the fire, which is, the good stuff, it's just one thing after another. When he gets going, when he starts hanging out, it's just like I put my cards down and I just enjoy and I watch the legend in action. Thank you for doing that, by the way. I sincerely appreciate it. That was very
Sure.
cool. Yeah.
Here's a kind of another little fun one.
Oh, you're going in again. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
let's do another one. And
Cool.
this is a really old, old Marlowe and Elmsley trick. They both came up with it, and I think Rustock might have come up with it too. And basically, a lot of the guys, when the Faro Shuffle first was coming into play, I know probably independently came up with this. And I speak for that because I know Bob Koch and I also came up with this by ourselves too. But it always had these weird controls. And so this was about 4 years ago. I put this in my last set of notes, and I called it the Any Sandwich. I'm driving to the Magic Club, Wednesday night club, and I said, and it just dawned on me how I could get rid of these goofy card controls. They were like incomplete Faro controls and stuff like that. So, Luke, I'm going to need you to name a card. Don't name a joker, but any other card's fair game.
Okay. Let's go with the 3 of hearts.
Okay. 3 of hearts here. So I'm just going to run through here. I'm going to just remove the joker.
Okay.
Right? We don't need the joker. Okay. Now, besides that card, the 3 of hearts, I want you to name any pair in the deck. So it could be like red queens, black sevens. Okay.
Okay.
And here.
How about the black 6s?
Black 6s. All right. So I'm going to run through here, and we're just going to outjog the 2 black 6s. Right there, they are. Okay. 2 black 6s, and that's all I'm going to do. Remove the black 6s. Okay. Now, at this point, I'd probably hand the deck to the spectator, but what we're going to do is we're going to deal down a few cards. Whenever you want to stop, you're going to stop the deal. You're going to bury those black 6s like that. Okay. Okay, so we're going to imagine now this is you, Luke. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to start to deal down. Whenever you want, say stop.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go a few more. And stop. We'll stop right there.
Okay.
Yep.
Then we're going to mark the spot with the 2 black 6s. So at this point, the spectator's doing all this.
Okay.
Okay? Mm-hmm. All right. So now all I would do is pick up the deck and say, let's make sure your thought of cards not on the top, not on the bottom. And I'm just going to go ahead and give these cards a quick shuffle. All right. Going to give them a good mix. If I can give them a mix here. All right. It's the trouble with, should have broken this deck in. All right, there we go.
There we go. All right.
So, and we just spread, and my gosh, there's a card stuck in between those 2 black 6s. And you could have named any card in the deck. What was the card?
3 of hearts.
3 of hearts, right there.
Yes. Oh man, you just do it over and over and over again. It's so awesome, dude. I love it. I love it. Oh man. Actually, I want to remind the guys about something too. If you're enjoying this type of stuff, this is a little bit of a plug for Allan. He didn't really ask me to do this, but I think it's worth doing because if you like watching his material being done by him, he's got a YouTube channel now, and I've got a video queued up. This is just one of you performing one of your tricks from your YouTube channel. It's kind of like the intro here, but you're now on YouTube, which is awesome, Allan. So that's great. You're on YouTube now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is a routine from the Las Vegas Cardinal book called The Small Packets All Back. And I had a couple of versions of this in print. Wes Enberg and I came up with this routine in 1969 with a 3-card version up at the Colon Magic get together, Abbott's Magic get together. We were sitting there and we were talking about the diminishing lift addition, and we came up with a really cool way to do it backwards from the bottom up. And then I came up with a 3-card small packet all backs with a 3-ace kicker. And then about 10 years later, I switched it over to a 4-ace kicker. So it was turned into a 4-card small packet all backs routine.
Okay.
And so that's what this routine is right here. That's coming out. So, and I've had a lot of fun with this routine. And then I've improved this. I did this routine for Steve Hobbs. Mm-hmm. Oh, I used to have to go up to a Microsoft convention up in Redmond every year, and I get to spend some time with Jack Carpenter, nice. A really good friend of mine, and he would often invite Steve Hobbs. And I did this routine from Hobbs, and he says, yeah, it's a good routine, but I don't like it because you're giving away the idea of a double backer. So I said, I'll never do it. But he's a good routine. So I went home, and I got rid of the double backer routine, and I call this one, and I got it in my new book that I call Card Theater. And it's kind of a fun version of this too, which I'll eventually get up here on YouTube, but it doesn't give away the idea of an all backer here. Cool. But yeah, now we'll have the big ending coming up here, which is a big surprise to everybody. See, this kind of goes into everywhere, nowhere. Mm-hmm. And now those 4/8s are gonna disappear.
See someone asking, having trouble finding your channel on YouTube. Just do a search for Allan Ackerman, and his image will show up. Oh, damn! There's the aces. Yes. Oh man, so good, so good. I love also your setup behind you. You've got the 3-way mirror there. You're always and there's the card. Yep, out of the nice, cool.
Yeah, Dave Brumfield's wonderful move.
Nice. Very cool, very cool. It's and again, guys, you should definitely check him out on YouTube. Again, just do a search for Allan Ackerman. It is 2 L's, Allan, and you'll see his channel pop up. It'll be his face on the little profile image, and subscribe and check him out for sure. He's going to be adding more stuff as time goes on, which is going to be really cool. Here's a question I have for you, Allan, actually based on what I just saw with the 3-way mirror, and we'll wrap this up in just a couple minutes here. When it comes to practice, do you have any practice tips? You know, you're someone that obviously knows a whole lot of material, and your chops, you keep them sharp. But for people that are looking for the way to make the most of their practice, what kind of tips would you give people when it comes to that type of stuff?
Well, I think the 3-way mirror is great, but more important than the 3-way mirror is for you to video.
Sure.
So I start on the 3-way mirror and pick a routine, and then I practice there, and then I video it, and then I just really critique it. What don't I like? What looks awkward? What makes everything needs to have sense, make sense. Every action needs a reason. So and that video camera will pick all that up, and then you can just nitpick and try to make it perfect. And that's what I really love about close-up magic. I love to take a routine and make it look perfect. I love to problem solve.
And you're right about the camera thing too, because what's the old saying? The camera doesn't blink.
That's right.
Doesn't blink. Yeah. The follow-up question for me with this is, and this is a very popular question for people, and especially for you, because you are like an encyclopedia of this stuff. Now we know how you practice, but how do you remember all this? You have so many routines that you do, and anytime someone asks you to do something, you like do it with the drop of a hat. Like there's just no thinking about it. Like, how do you remember all this stuff too? That's not easy, or I don't think it is.
Yeah, well, so practice, so I kind of always have some routines that I'm always ready. So if somebody asks me to do something,
Hmm.
I'm always ready to go, and I make sure I can run through that day.
Yeah.
I often just say, okay, I'm gonna, uh, and I often just take a book and I actually will work through every routine in a book and do every routine in the book for a little while, and then I'll pick the 3 or 4 favorites that I like, and I'll permanently add them to my repertoire. And then, of course, then to keep them fresh, then constantly, when you're working for people, don't just do the same set.
Mm.
Constantly try to keep increasing your repertoire. So that's what I would say is just, don't get comfortable with just the same 6 tricks. And I know some people would say that's a mistake, but I'm often working for the same group.
Mm.
I class all the time. I used to do magic in my class all the time, so they don't want to see this trick twice. So you got to constantly be doing different material. So
Okay.
yeah, just keep working on new material. Never get bored.
Yes, well said. I've got one question left, and I think this is a great one to end this on. And then I've got one little thing to go on the way out. Something to ask you too. Dane Smith over on YouTube would like to know, Allan, do you have any plans on a book or books of your collected work? Now that's a great question because you have material in so many places. It's spread out and a lot of resources. But do you have any plans for any type of collected
You
works?
know what? So I think what I'm going to do, and I'll probably do this with Gino over at Houdini Magic,
Mm-hmm.
um, put a little thing called Early Ackerman out. So I had 3 books out in the 70s. One I wrote in 69, my first book, which was called Magic Mafia Effects. And then I had Paul Diamond put one out in 71 called The Esoterist.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote one for Gamblers Book Club in 73. And I would write all these little gambling books because I had my software company going by that time, and we did all these simulation books. I'd get one to him, and one of those, we did 7 or 8 of them. And in 2 weeks, he'd have it out in the press and out in the book on the shelves. 2 weeks. But this magic book I gave him in 73, he sat on it and sat on it. And finally it came out in, I think, 78 or something. Or I think, yeah.
Wow, that is a long time. Wow.
And it was called Here's My Card. It was a cute little book. Yeah. And so I think we will combine all 3 of those and put out, and that probably is going to happen maybe next year.
Oh wow, soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Very exciting. That's awesome. Um, and then on the way out of here, I was going to ask you because I told you we go about 30 minutes. We're at the technically we're at 40, but we were doing some pre-show stuff. If people were looking for the Darwin Magic Club on Facebook, do you know if there's a group name? I can try to look for it too. But you know if there's an easy way to find it?
The Darwin's Wednesday Night Magic Club. I
Okay.
think that's what we call it.
Okay.
Yeah, even Rockenbaumer, who's one of our club members, he's the one that got me going on YouTube, and he set up the Facebook.
Okay.
So I'm not very good on Facebook. I have to. I can do the messenger now. That's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'd love to ask you this real quick. Do you have time for one quick question? This one is pretty
Sure.
quick. Yeah. Benny would like to know, and I would love to know this too. Did you ever meet Jimmy Grippo? Did you ever meet him?
Of course. I got together with Jimmy. I got here in 71. Jimmy would come to the club every week. He would never miss. And this would be after the Bacchanal room at Caesars. And he would always come and he would work good 2 hours.
Wow.
Good
Okay.
2 hours every night. And this went on 2 weeks before he passed. So we're like talking early 90s. He did 2 hours at the club.
Wow.
And it was great. And he would always nail you at least once. You would get blown away at least one time. He'd get you with something. It was just awesome. Yeah, he was a wonderful, wonderful human being.
Cool. We've
Generous and kind and just a great, great individual.
we've
And
definitely had some legends in this town and passed through. I know I unfortunately, and I'm sure you knew him very well. I'm actually sure that you did. For me, Michael Skinner is one of those guys I wish I had had a chance to spend some time with.
Michael, Michael,
Yeah.
so Michael moved to town, I believe, late 70s. It might have been 75,
Okay.
75, somewhere around there. And then uh, he was busy working, so he didn't come to the Wednesday night club that often.
Mm.
But what he did, we started at noon with Michael. So there's about 8 of us. The
Wow.
Wednesday night magic club turned into and then Michael always would have guests coming into town from foreign countries or whatever to visit Michael. And so we'd start at noon. We'd have lunch with Michael. We'd have a 4 or 5 hour session with Michael. And then Michael would have to get ready to go to Lily Langtry's about 5 o'clock. And so then our gang of the other rest of the Vegas guys would go have dinner, and then we'd go head over to Gary Darwin's Magic Club at 8 o'clock, and that went to midnight, 2 o'clock. So yeah, so Wednesdays used to, with when Michael was alive, start at 12 noon and go to past midnight. It was quite a fun
Every
time.
week. Every week it was like
Every
that.
week, every week. Yeah.
Man, dude, I'm so jealous of all that. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's amazing. Well,
Yeah.
I'm so thankful, and I know the rest of the Vegas scene and magicians that come into town to visit. We're so thankful for you continuing the tradition and keeping everything alive for the next generations that are, coming through this town. And you're definitely an anchor here, and we all appreciate you for everything that you do. So thank you for that, and of course, thank you for today too. I know you're retired now. Your schedule's flexible. You're hanging out in the mountains at your cabin, and now you're talking. This is crazy that we're even doing this, huh? That technology even lets us do this. It's kind of crazy, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of
Uh,
fun, isn't it?
it is fun. It's a lot of fun, yeah. So I'm gonna let you get out and enjoy the rest of your day. It sounds like it's a beautiful day where you are, so you should get out there and enjoy that. And thank you so much, Allan. And I know I'll see you soon. I'm always looking forward to that. But
Okay.
really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye
Cool.
bye.
All right. Cool. There you go, guys. I have no words. Just a legend has graced us with his presence. And if you're ever in Vegas and you want to spend some time with him, you know where to find him. Wednesday nights at the Darwin Club. It's over at Tommy Rockers on Dean Martin. It starts about 9 o'clock and goes until the wee hours of the morning. I'm very thankful that I've been able to go a few times here. Can't go as much as I'd like to go. I'm adulting. I have a son and responsibilities, but when I can go, I go. So yeah. So thanks again to Allan and you guys for hanging out. I hope you really enjoyed this. I know I did. This is, to me, is just being able to sit in on this stuff. It's very surreal, and I'm very thankful to be able to do stuff like this for you guys too. So thank you as well. And thank you, Mickey Silver. Appreciate you, sir, for the comment out there. Thank you, sir. So next week we'll be back again. This time we'll bring you some behind the scenes from our studio. So if you want to see what goes on and what it really takes to put out a brand new magic product, we're going to have our studio team with you to share all those details. And again, if you want to win some free magic, we had one of the legends here, one of the card magic legends out there. Sleight of hand guys, showing you some card magic too. We've got this up for grabs. This is the ultimate self-working card tricks project. This one's volume 4 up for grabs. So if you want to win some card magic today, all you got to do is drop a like and comment on this video, and you're automatically entered to win. That's as easy as it is. And congrats to our winners from last week. Again, our YouTube winner, Handstand221, wins the Tom Elderfield at the Table Lecture, and so does Frank Valenti. He also wins. So we got winners every single week. So make sure you do enter. I know a lot of you already have. Good luck. All right. That's going to do it for me, guys. Big thank you to Allan Ackerman for his time and for kicking my butt with more card magic. And congrats to my buddy, Jeffrey Tam. I saw you, Jeffrey. I saw you out there. My buddy Jeffrey just hit 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. A great magician, great guy. Keep an eye on him too. He's doing big stuff. And congrats. More importantly, congrats. That's a big milestone. 500,000 subscribers over on YouTube. So congrats, my friend. right, guys, I am going to get out of here. Thanks again, and I will catch you. Oh, and Fanique, I see you out there, Fanique. Catch you next time, my friend. Talk to you soon.